Well, good morning. Welcome to Wake Up in the Word. Thank you for joining me this morning. It's a beautiful day in the Lord, and it gets prettier every time I have my cup of coffee in the morning. Well, thank you for joining us for what will be Psalm 19 this morning. Psalm 19. As most of us would recognize, Psalm 19 is the one that begins with the famous statement, "The heavens declare the glory of God." The heavens declare the glory of God. You know, every time I look up and every time we examine our beautiful universe, our beautiful galaxy, our solar system, we recognize what a magnificent architect is behind our universe, how it gets bigger and bigger. And as we look at that, I'm just amazed at how the stars have been placed so intentionally by our Lord in their courses. If you are in the northern hemisphere and you get in a real dark place as we're here at the end of the summer, beginning fall season, you can see the actual path of the Milky Way. And out at the very tail end of the Milky Way galaxy, there's one particular star called Deneb that's the tail of the swan, if you're looking at the swan constellation, that is one of the most luminous stars in our sky. That particular star is some 60,000 times more luminous than our sun. It's estimated to be some 1,600 light years away, or 9.6 thousand trillion miles. That's a long ways off, but we can still see it. Now keep in mind, if it were closer, let's say if it was as close as Sirius, our brightest object in the sky outside of the planets and the moon at night, Sirius is only about 8.6 light years away. If Deneb were just that close, just 8.6 light years away from us, it would be a bright object, so much brighter that it would rival the full moon in its brightness if it were that close to us. But isn't it amazing that God has put us in a place in which He made sure there were the pattern in the background of stars and the moon perfectly positioned and perfectly sized so that we can have perfect eclipses, and our sun, something that you can't even dream could be an accident. So, you know, and if you think about it, when you look at a star like Deneb that's some 1,600 light years away, and you try to imagine what that means, it means that the very light we are seeing from that star today was the light it produced back when the Visigoths were sacking Rome, 1,600 years ago. And yet we're seeing it just today. When you say, wow, that's a mighty big universe. Oh, that's not even the universe. Remember, that's just in our galaxy. It doesn't even touch the rest of the galaxies that God has out there. So, you know, as we think about some of these things, it's easy to look out here and say with David, as we read the psalm together, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the expanse proclaims the work of His hands. Day after day they pour out speech. Night after night they communicate knowledge. There is no speech, there are no words, their voice is not heard." But yet, look at verse 4. "Their message has gone out to the whole earth, and their words to the end of the world." In the heavens, He's pitched a tent for the sun. It's like a bridegroom coming from his home. It rejoices like an athlete running a course. It rises from one end of the heavens and circles to the other end. Nothing is hidden from its heat. Then notice how he jumps from verse 6 to verse 7 to here's what we see out there in the sky. Here's the beauty of God's expanse of His universe. "Therefore we know that," verse 7, "the instruction of the Lord is perfect, renewing one's life. The testimony of the Lord is trustworthy, making the inexperienced wise. The precepts of the Lord are right, making glad the heart. The command of the Lord is radiant, making the eyes light up." Are you seeing the pattern here? The pattern is He's saying, look, because of this magnificent God we have that has created such beautiful things, don't you recognize that His law, His precepts, His word is perfect also? And if you will apply it to your life, these are the things that are going to happen. All right, let's pick up in verse 9. "The fear of the Lord is pure, enduring forever. The ordinances of the Lord are reliable and altogether righteous. They are more desirable than gold, than an abundance of pure gold, and sweeter than honey dripping from a honeycomb. In addition, your servant is warned by them, and in keeping them there is an abundant reward. So, as David applies this, he's saying, here we have the perfect word, the perfect instruction of the Lord. Now, how does that apply to me? Last 3 verses. Who perceives his unintentional sins? So then in a prayer, he says, cleanse me from my hidden faults. Moreover, keep your servant from willful sins. Do not let them rule me. Then I will be blameless and cleansed from blatant rebellion. So, ultimately, verse 14 can take place. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, Lord, my rock and my redeemer. I hope today, as you look up to the heavens and see the majesty God has created around us, not only in the sky, but in everything that's in this planet He's given us as the ideal place for life to thrive, I pray that you will then turn it into recognizing how beautiful His instructions are, His Word is, so that you can apply it to your life and be that person that in verse 14 can say, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, Lord, my rock and my redeemer. You have a great day in the Lord. Join me again here tomorrow as we wake up in the Word. You have a great day in Him.